Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth annual Book Fairies Read-a-Thon. We have Renee Daniel Flagler with us again in the house. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We are excited. So Renee and I know each other through business and as friends. Renee is the executive director for Girls Inc. here on Long Island. Do you want to talk a little bit, just give that a plug?
Sure. Girls Inc. Of Long Island is the local affiliate of the National Girls Inc. organization. And what we do is, through our mission to inspire girls to be strong, smart, and bold, we are working on the next generation of leaders by providing girls with the tools, assets, opportunities, breaking the barriers for them so that they can reach their full potential. And we work with a lot of girls from lower and minorities while we serve all girls. Growing up girl is not easy.
No, well, you do incredible work. You and your team are always out there advocating to help the girls do what they, it's not an easy time right now.
Not at all.
So what you're doing is necessary and important. And, I have the utmost respect for you and admiration for all of you that you do. And on top of that, as if that's not enough, because I know my job is full time and then some. And I know I see you out all the time. You never stop. You're always working to advance the mission. You have time to write books. I don't even like flawed when I see what and you turn them out pretty quickly. You really do. Last time you read, I think it was the Second Wives Club book, right?
Yes, so I did.
If people haven't read that yet, Second Wives Club, that is a good one, and people need to get that. That was really good. And so you write under, is it a pseudonym? Is that what you call it?
I
okay.
do.
And that's Nikki Knight, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you're award-winning on your books, but plus you're a writer, award-winning writer, but also a coach, and you do speak as well. Yes. You're a speaker for just coaching executives and things like that in general. So can you just tell us what your website is? Because I think if people don't know who you are and the depth of what you can really bring to the table, what is your website?
Sure. It's my name, ReneeDanielFlagler.com.
Perfect. Because there's a lot of meat and potatoes on your on your website about you too. So that's great. So tonight you're going to read from us to us from Work, Love, Balance. And then after you're done reading, I have like a lot of questions about the book and just, your writing in general. I hope that people are ready to sit back and listen to this juicy reading because I have my wine and I am ready to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off screen and let you be the highlight, and I will be back when you are done and we'll chat. Sounds good?
Yep. Yeah. Let's do it.
Thank you. All right.
So I am going to introduce you to the amazing characters, the fun characters in Work, Love, Balance. So this is the book, Work, Love, Balance by Nikki Knight. That's my pen name. And it is part of a 3-book series of the Blackwells. And so the first book in the Blackwell series was Intimate Negotiations. The second book was One More Second Chance. And the last one is Work, Love, Balance. So I'll give you a little insight. So Work, Love, Balance. Ivy Blackwell is the one sister of the Blackwell clan. She has brothers, which some of her other stories are about. And she's embarking on a whole new life. She works for the Blackwells, which is her family business. And they run a wealth management organization, a wealth management company. And so the Blackwells are actually spread out across the country. The Blackwells of Chicago's in real estate development, the Blackwells of Los Angeles, they are in media, and the Blackwells of New York is in finance. And so she's grown up in this finance family. She's well known in the financial industry, but she started working on helping other women learn all about finances. And as a result of that, she, posted information on social media and became this phenomenal social media influencer, like by chance. So she's not even accustomed to the influencer lifestyle and what that pertains. And because she's blown up so quickly, she was given this name, the Money Maven, because she was teaching women how to build wealth. And it just took off. And so she ended up, publishing company came after her to write a book about, women in finance and, how to help women become, wealthy. And then a network came after her to do a show called, for the Money Maven, which is her working with children of celebrity who don't know how to manage their finance, navigate their finances. So like all of this stuff is taking off. And this world is just so different than the world of finance, right? Blue suits, black suits, well buttoned up, smart looking, to this world of influencing where she's out in the world and she's, going to events and she's being asked to participate in all kinds of things and she's receiving awards. This life is just like different. And not only was she just extremely busy as a wealth manager because she just launched this new division in her father's company that focused on helping women invest, but now she's got influencing and she's got a book going on and and it's just like, how is she supposed to manage all of this stuff? And then in comes Jordan Chambers. Jordan Chambers is this amazing, phenomenal producer. He has his own production company, and he, amongst all of the folks in Hollywood, are looking for content. They're looking for the next big thing. And so when he sees his team sees the rise of Ivy Chambers, the Money Maven, they go after her to be the first network to offer her, or the first production company to offer her, an opportunity to have her own reality show. So things get even crazier. But not only is, Jordan offering this amazing, opportunity of a lifetime, but he's also rather gorgeous and rather good looking. And, although you're not supposed to be dating the people that you're doing business with, sometimes the chemistry is a little too hot to handle. So you have no choice. But anyway, we'll get into that a little later. I'll read a little bit of the summary to you. So her new boss is infuriating, off limits, and the most desirable man she has ever met. Ivy Blackwell is perfectly capable of managing her thriving social media brand. But when gorgeous producer Jordan Chambers offers the high-profile influencer the chance of a lifetime, her own show, she can't resist the tempting offer, nor can she resist Jordan. A determined, self-made man on the delicious desire he ignites behind closed doors. Mixing business with oh so much pleasure is a terrible idea. So why is Ivy falling hard and fast? Let's find out. I always like to start with the first chapter, just to kind of hook you in, give you a little insight, and then drop you off a cliff so you can go and buy the book. All right. So we will start with chapter 1. The Money Maven. That's what they call her now. Ivy Blackwell was still trying the moniker on for size. Sometimes she loved it. Other times, it felt pretentious. Both times, it still made sense to her. What didn't make sense was how fast the persona took off. It was startling, propelling her into the life of a social media influencer within one short year. And with that came the deals, big deals. Of course, the Blackwell name had an impact, but the hard work that it took keeping up with all of the demands of this lifestyle was all on Ivy. This was all new to her. It was exhilarating, yet it was exhausting. Ivy twirled, checking out her reflection in the mirrored wall in her walk-in closet. The black strapless gown couldn't have fit more perfectly. The large, beautiful ruffle down the side from her breast to the hem of her gown was almost obnoxious. It was way more flamboyant than she would ever have chosen for herself, but she knew it was absolutely stunning and would certainly get lots of attention on the red carpet. The thought of being in the spotlight made her a bit nervous. It's not like it was her first time. Her cousins were in the entertainment business. They practically ran Hollywood, producing shows and marrying A-listers. She'd gone to plenty of star-studded events with them, but was always in the background. She wasn't an attention hog. In fact, too much attention made her uncomfortable. However, tonight, she wasn't going to be in the background. This was work. It was her job to be seen. Ivy had been styled by an up-and-coming designer. This young woman hit the fashion scene with a vengeance, commanding the attention of popular celebrities. When the network invited Ivy to the launch party for The Real Deal, a reality show featuring female venture capitalists negotiating high-stakes business deals, this designer reached out and asked if she could style her for the big event. Ivy did her research on the young woman, fell in love with her work, and responded with a hell yeah. Jade, the makeup artist she hired for the evening, walked up to Ivy and dabbed her face with one of those fancy sponges. Take this with you so you can freshen up throughout the evening. She put a tube of lipstick in a small pouch and handed it to Ivy. I also put a sponge in there so you can dab away the shine if you need to. Thanks, Jade. Ivy took a deep breath. Still nervous? The woman said. A little. She tried to find the right words. Just a lot. Look at me. A face full of makeup, this dress. Ivy ran her hand down the front of her body as if she were presenting herself. This is way more than what I'm usually used to. Actually, this is more my mother's speed. Girl, you're a Blackwell. You should be used to this. Don't get me wrong. I like to look fabulous, just like any other gal, but this is different. This is my cousin's lifestyle. I never envied them for always being in the spotlight. We have our flashy few, but generally, people in finance are nothing like people in the entertainment industry. You got a point, Jade said, sliding her brushes into the holder. It is different, but you're made for this. Ivy tilted her head. You think so? Of course. Jade stopped putting her makeup tools away and placed one hand on her hip. You're the most stylish person I know in finance. Most of these women are ultra conservative in their suits and chic dresses with their smart looking selves. That's why you became popular so fast. You've got financial savvy and pizzazz. With your chic style, you make learning about money seem cool. Smart and savvy is the new sexy, honey. That's why you're the money maven. You're the full package. Aw, thanks. Seriously, own it, enjoy it. Think of times like these as a girl playing dress up. Doesn't everyone like to play dress up every now and then? Jade asked, as if the idea of not doing so was ridiculous. Ivy twisted her lips thoughtfully. I like that. She looked at herself in the mirror one more time, spun around, and walked off like she just hit the runway. After a few steps, she took a dramatic pivot, tossed her hair over her shoulders, and shot Jade a smoldering gaze as if she were posing on the red carpet. That's what I'm talking about, the makeup artist threw her head back and laughed. Ivy laughed with her. Ivy, a male's baritone voice carried itself up her stairs. Ty! She lifted her dress and shuffled as fast as she could. The gown hugged her legs. Coming! Ivy made her way down the stairs swiftly and carefully, stepping into Tyson's waiting arms at the bottom. What's up, cousin? He kissed her cheek, then held her at arm's length. With an approving smile, he took her in from head to toe. Wow, you look stunning. With a hand placed gently over her heart, Ivy said, thank you. She looked around. Where's Kendall? She asked as Jade made her way down the steps with her makeup kit the size of a carry-on bag. Jade halted at the bottom step. Wait, Tyson Blackwell is your cousin? Yes, this big head is my cousin. Ivy swatted him on the back of his head, then nestled into his arm. Whoa. Jade's eyes stretched wide. I didn't even put that together. How cool. She turned her attention to Tyson. Pleasure to meet you. You're married to Kendall Chandler, right? Yes, that's my lady. I love her music. Jade turned back to Ivy. Have a great night and remember what I told you. Call me when you get back to LA. I will. Ivy gave her an air kiss on both sides. As Jade was walking out, Kendall came in the door. Jade stopped abruptly and just stared at Ty's wife. A second later, everyone laughed. They were used to that happening when Kendall was around. Hi, Kendall held out her hand to Jade. Oh, my goodness, Kendall Chandler. Jade grabbed her hand and shook it. This is so cool. It's a pleasure to meet you. Jade was still shaking Kendall's hand. I'd love to do your makeup one day. Kendall looked down at her hand, still in Jade's grasp, and then looked back at Jade. Oh, Jade dropped Kendall's hand and nervously rubbed her hands along the sides of her legs. Sorry. Kendall laughed. No problem. I'll get your information from Ivy. Wow. Okay. I should go. Wow. Thanks. Have a great night, you all. Jade stepped through the door. And when it closed behind her, Ivy heard her squeal. The three of them laughed again. Kendall shook her head. I don't know if I'll ever get used to that. I'm going to tell you like Jade told me. Own it. Ivy and Kendall laughed together. Thanks for agreeing to join me tonight. They told me I can bring +1, but when I told them Tyson would be joining me, they said, and Kendall Chandler too, of course. I told them you absolutely would. I'm just glad you were available so I wouldn't seem like a liar. Tyson looked at his watch and said, time to go. Ivy sucked in a deep breath and let it out with a rush. Well, she held up her hand and let them fall to her side. Let's go. The three headed out to the car. The driver held the door open until they were safely inside. The next hour went by in a blur. Within minutes, they were on the red carpet. The popping sounds of cameras flashing sparked in the air. Journalists, bloggers, and entertainment commentators from every kind of media outlet captured the guests. Some held cameras with long, fancy lenses. Others had cell phones and everything in between. That's the Money Maven. Hey, Money Maven. Ivy heard someone call out to her, but she could hardly see from all the flashing cameras. Ivy smiled and posed. Pop, pop, pop went the cameras. Thank you, one of the journalists yelled. Ivy grinned again, waved, and continued toward the door. She was surprised that person had noticed her, because, truth be told, she wasn't sure how popular influencers were in the world of entertainment. She looked back to see that Tyson and Kendall were moving slowly down the carpet, posing and answering questions. They seemed so at ease to Ivy. She was still blinking from all the flashing lights. Inside, they were ushered to a reception area. Waiters carried trays of wine and hors d'oeuvres. Ivy took a flute and sipped. Someone bumped her hard, causing the champagne to spill over the rim. She jumped back just in time to avoid splashing the liquid all over her dress. Annoyed, Ivy turned around toward the culprit, holding her elbow to help steady her. She looked up into his face, and the sharp words on the tip of her tongue stayed put as she snatched her arm from his grasp. She'd been ready to lash out, but his drop-dead gorgeous looks had rendered her momentarily speechless. Besides, she also remembered that she was there on assignment. She couldn't cause a scene. Ivy was being paid big bucks to appear at this event. Her job was to shoot short videos and take tons of pictures so she could chat it up on social media and influence people to want to download the network's app and watch the show when it aired. Cameras were everywhere. With all that in mind, she shoved her spicy response down her throat and nodded stiffly at his apology. I'm so sorry. I was in a rush. I didn't see you. Did it get on your dress? He looked down at her gown, and she felt heat rise on her legs. Ivy huffed. She remembered that this man had almost ruined her dress. No, she said sharply. She couldn't help the eye roll. Thank goodness. Again, my apologies. Ivy only responded with a glare. She didn't trust her words. It didn't matter how handsome and poised this man was. She still felt the spot on the back of her shoulder where he bumped her, knocking her off balance. Had he been running? After a few awkward seconds, he bid her a good night, apologized one final time, and walked off. Ivy couldn't help but watch him stride away. His swift gait was mesmerizing. She couldn't see under those tux, but something about his back let her know that it was strong and sturdy. His posture was regal, his pace purposeful. It was obviously that he had somewhere to be. He wasn't lingering, sipping champagne, greeting guests with a plastered smile while he nibbled bites like everyone else. Ivy watched him until he disappeared behind a set of double doors. I will stop there. So hopefully that has enticed you enough to want to find out more about Ivy and Jordan Chambers.
You got us hooked. You got us hooked. That was like, you did leave us off a cliff. It's such a timely book to me, because I'm so curious about the influencers and how people become influencers, and like what their lives become, and the juxtaposition between her being just this finance person to becoming this celebrity in a year.
Right.
And it's like over time. Where did this come from? Where did this story come from?
So it came from a couple of places. So
Okay.
actually have a board member who is in finance, and I was always intrigued by her zest for helping women, better understand finances and investing, and she does a wonderful job of teaching people about that. And it's something that I've been interested in for several years. I didn't grow up with financial literacy, and the Blackwells was already a financial family, right? And so when it came to telling Ivy's story, I wanted to do something that was a little different from the stories of her brothers, but also something that was really, really timely and relevant. I'm a little bit of an influencer myself. I am no big deal. But I know influencers whose lives seem to me to be so overwhelming. And some of them I know I've seen them like kind of crash and burn, or have to literally take a break, and they'll disappear off of social media, and they'll come back and they'll say things like, I'm back, everybody. I needed to take time away for self-care, or to just, take care of myself. And it can really be a whirlwind being an influencer, because then you start getting called on, and you start getting asked to do things, and people get their show. It's such a whirlwind. But she's got this conflict of, this is not her lifestyle. She didn't set out to become an influencer. She has her family business, and her father's really not happy about this whole influencing lifestyle, because they don't get it, right?
Right. Yeah.
And she's got business to do. She's got a department that she just literally started at the wealth management firm to grow. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be here. You've got these big time clients. Some of the clients are coming to her because of the work that she's doing as an influencer, but it's like, how do you manage it? And she had one client, huge, wealthy woman, and her thing was, I only want to deal with Ivy Chambers. I don't want to work with anybody else on her team. I want to work with her personally. And because of all the demands on her life, she has less and less time to spend. And then she gets to a point where she's at risk of losing that huge client. And her father's like, something's got to give.
Yeah, no. That's paying the bills, although the influencers make pretty good money. And for those of you who don't know, Renee is a big deal, and you are an influencer, and you're an influencer in my life. I enjoy, I would go to you for advice in a heartbeat, because you're level-headed. But I love all this, and influencers are, they're just in it. It's 24/7, right? It's like, it encompasses your whole life, as opposed to, and that's like, work-love balance. Actually, Francis wrote in the chat, what is your real life work-life balance like, being you're writing about someone with work-love balance?
It's challenging.
Yes.
It's definitely challenging.
Yeah, you're an all-in kind of gal. You like, and I'm not kidding, you are out and about all the time. So it's, I do know you shut down, and I don't know I know you shut down, you go away and you do certain things, but if you want to talk about your balance.
So first and foremost, I only do things that I love, right? I only do things that are aligned with my passion. I'm passionate about service. I'm passionate about youth. I'm passionate about women's empowerment. Passionate about equity. So, Running Girls Inc. is, that's like the center of my passion. Writing, it's the center of my passion. My audience for writing is women. I'm telling stories about women. And as you'll see, like with the story of The Real Deal, the television show that she's going to the premiere for, it's women venture capitalists making deals. So I love to put women in big, beautiful, positive lights.
Yes.
So I balance, I won't say balance. I don't like that word, because it's really not true. It's really a juggle. It's like
it is. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah, it's different times where different things take precedence. in your life, and you shift and you move accordingly. So
Mhm.
I split my time between Girls Inc., being an author and a coach slash influencer, I guess, and then
Mhm.
my family. And my kids are grown, so I don't have, they don't need as much as my time as they used to. My
Mhm.
husband is my biggest cheerleader, and I've always been a busybody, so we know how to navigate each other. And during my shutdown times, we have a lot of times where we're just shut down, it's just us, whether we veg out on the couch and binge watch movies or go on vacation, and all of that, or just have cool, quiet nights at home and things like that. We still manage that. So, and I do a lot of community service. So I would say that the majority of my time is probably spent, between Girls Inc. and like coaching. Writing is like therapeutic for me. It's like my favorite pastime. So writing for me is like reading for a lot of people. I'm a big reader, I'm a big writer.
Mhm.
And when people read, especially fiction, to kind of like woosah, take a break and just escape into someone else's world. It's the same thing for me. It's escapism when I'm going into these people's worlds and creating these characters. So
Yeah,
I
that's
split it up to make sure that I'm trying to give what I need to each thing, and sometimes I'll pull back from one to give more to others.
and including giving to yourself, and you're managing it. So that's great. We
Mhm.
have a question from Audrey. She wants to know, are you gonna, because you did say this is the third, we want to know, you got to, we want to read, we want to keep reading. Are you going to continue with Ivy's story in your next book?
So Ivy does show up in the other books, and as her brother show in this work, but this completes the Blackwell story. And the new one is a totally different story. So
Okay.
keep an eye out for Nikki's next book,
Okay.
Harlequin. I'm working on it now. It's due in August to my editor, and it will be out early next year.
Wow. Okay. Alexia wants to know, do you have any rituals for you write about, when you're about to write, like lighting a nice candle or having a glass of wine?
I do. And you know what?
Um,
Sometimes it changes based on the book. So like there's certain books where like literally those books have like its own playlist, right? So there's
oh,
certain books that one of my books in the Chandler series, both of the characters loved music. Like they listened to the music of their parents, right? Their parents were music lovers and stuff.
mhm.
And during that whole book, I listened to Nina Simone as I wrote.
Wow.
Sometimes I will listen to John Coltrane or like
Oh,
jazz, a jazz
mm,
playlist.
mhm.
When I'm home, sometimes I will set the tone and like light a candle. I have candles right here at my desk. I will, light a candle. I close my door and kind of just get my mind together. I'll talk about, think about the characters, kind of talk to them actually out loud. And then I'll read the previous chapter before I start going into the next chapter. I do a lot of writing at Starbucks, which is kind of fun. It's weird, even though it's like noisy and people, for some reason, I can really focus at Starbucks. I can actually focus
Mhm.
better at Starbucks than when I'm home, because I'm home. I'm like, yeah, let me go put a load of clothes in the machine and let me do,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but when I'm
You're
at Starbucks,
distracted.
yeah, Starbucks, I just zone right in. They're playing music. I get lost in the music. I get lost in the book, and I can literally write for hours at Starbucks. I have gone to Starbucks and have written 4,000 and 5,000 words in a day.
Wow. How long did it take to write this book? Or on average, how is it different? I'm assuming it's different for all, but
It's
how, like,
different. Yeah, it's different depending on which book it is. So the books that I write for Renee Daniel Flagler, which are larger books, more thick books, like Second Wives
yes.
Club.
Mm-hmm.
A book like this will take up to 6 months for me to write.
Yeah.
A book like this, which is, the romance books are much smaller, a little thinner. I could do these in
Mm-hmm.
about 3 months. And that's after, this is the 10th one. So
Yeah.
after being able to kind of like put my proposal together and formulate it, and before I start the book, my proposal is complete. So it's like I know the beginning, the middle, and the end. I'm just filling in the blanks.
That's great. Oh my God. I can't believe we're almost at time here, and you
It's
you just
almost
have so much to do. Jane Nichols says, wow. Wow. I think you have us on, you had us at hello and with the first chapter. So we're all waiting to, and these are like great reads. And I feel like, it's a lose yourself kind of, just happy and interesting and keep you going, take you out of the crazy, the day-to-day crazy of life.
Yes. Yep.
So I think everybody needs to pick one up, and I can't wait to share it with my friends. Mine's on order, so I didn't get mine yet to read it in time for this, but mine is definitely on order. Do you have any preference or suggestions where people can get them?
They're available everywhere books are sold. The
Mhm.
newer one is more available. You know, these are a little bit older. They came out last year, and yeah, last year, like one of this was last summer and one of that was before. So that one may or may not be in the store because, you know, they recycle the books in the store a lot, but
Mhm.
you can get them, you can order them from Amazon, from Barnes and Nobles, Books a Million, basically wherever books are sold, you should be able to get them.
I
They're
got
available
mine. I
in
got mine
Kindle.
from Barnes and Noble.
They're
So
also available in Kindle if you have
it's
like,
very easy to order.
mhm.
Yeah, very easy to order. And you got even, I think it was an ebook too available, right?
Yes, the ebook is
Okay.
available too.
Wow. Well, you never disappoint. And I don't know, you're inspiring in so many ways. And I think if people aren't following you, they should be following you. And if they haven't seen your website, they should go to your website, order your books, and support you, because you exude passion in everything that you do. And I personally feel privileged to know you and call you
Thank
friends.
you.
So thank you. And thank you for always supporting the book fairies. And you support us in a number of different ways. So if anybody, you just are a generous, compassionate, giving person, and you make the world a better place. And if you want some fun, take yourself away from things, get her books, because they will put a smile on your face and make I was laughing while you were reading. So I'm like, I gotta, I can't wait. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's
Thank
great.
you again. This is
Thank
again,
you.
it's a fundraiser and it's a read-a-thon, and we thank Amazon and Jovia for being such great sponsors, our top sponsors. They're leading the way. So we thank them, and I thank you, and hopefully you'll be back next year.
For sure.
Sounds good. And I will see you soon.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a nice night, everyone. Thanks.